Hello people, I'm back in the world of ARK. This time I'm on my PS4 server. Alright, so I've had a few people ask me how I did what I did. So I'm going to show you. Right then. So this is my PS4 server, as you can see. And alright, so we've got no dinos. Right, so we can see we've got an Abberation crab. There we go. So we've got an Abberation crab that way. Let's go this way. So we can just show you that these things are all just spawning in natural and things. And I'll show you how to do it with the INI. So here we have the spiders. Oh yeah. So these are in place of the dodo. So normally the beach is a place that the dodo frolic and play. But I've sort of changed it. And I'm going to show you how I did that right now. Right, so we're going to need to go back to desktop. So, see you in a bit. Right there, guys. So we are back at our desktop. And so this is where it all starts. So my server is hosted by gportal. I'll leave a link in the description, and you can sign up to there and you can follow this exactly as you want. But also for Nitrado Servers as well, if you go into expert mode, there's a little tab that you have to click. You click that, you should be able to edit the INI that way as well. So that's for Xbox One users or anybody that's got an Xbox or a Nitrado server. But for now, what we're going to be looking at is gportal. Well, because my server is gportal. Okay. So, right. So, this is our modded server that we've already got running. Excuse me. So, if we look at configuration files, then we need to load the game INI. Now, this is what we want so we can do the changes. Right, we'll load that. So, these are just the basic settings of everything that's in the basic settings, basically. Everything that you do in there is here. So you could, this is sort of an expert mode type deal. So all we want to do is go all the way to the bottom of that and then start putting our jiggery pokery in. Right. So for this one, this starts here. Right about, there we are, Jim. Right, so where that break in the line is, this is the stuff that I've done. Right, so the first line is script shooter game mode. That's basically just telling it that you've entering a script. Right, so the next line is NPCReplacements. Right, so we'll have a closer look at that. I've got that in Notepad. Right then. So this line, NPCReplacements. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to change the spawn of things. So what I did in my world, it's entirely up to you what you want to do. So we're going to replace the dodo. So where this is in the quotation marks, we need to enter the dodo's ID. If you go to the wiki, obviously you guys are familiar with the wiki places and things, you'll see this. There's a little tab like that says spawn command, so we want to expand that. So all we want is the dodo character's name. So we've got the dodo underscore character underscore bp underscore c. We'll copy that. You can actually type it in if you know what you're looking for, but I like to copy and paste. I like my copy and paste. Right, so paste. So that is the island dodo. Now, if you wanted to get rid of a dino altogether, say if you didn't like, I don't know, pegos on the island, just do the exact same thing, but on the second one, leave that blank. So, like you would say, pego character, whatever it is, if you have a look at the wiki for that, and then you went back to that. So you'd have the pego, and on the second bit you would leave that blank, just the two quotations as is, that line as is, and then you would paste that into your INI. That would mean that whatever character you've set it to would no longer spawn. anywhere on the map. So you could basically eradicate certain dinos. Right, we don't want to we want to eradicate the dodo, but we want to replace it. So I've replaced mine with the arachniads. So we'll expand it again. So it's from there, spider S character, BPC. So copy that. Back down to his notepad again. Notepad. Paste. So there we go. So all we've done, we've replaced the dodo with the spider. So when we enter that into our INI, our game INI, that's what will happen on a restart. You will need to do a dino wipe as soon as you log in, because the other dinos, like the dodos, if they're on the island, will still wander around until they get killed off or get wiped out or whatever. They'll still be there, but when they respawn back in, they will be replaced with spiders. Awesome. I also did that with dillos as well. So I replaced dillos with bats. So it's up to you, entirely up to you, what you want to replace with, what you want to swap about, and whatever you want to do. So I'll just add that second line in. Let's just full screen that one there. So I'll add that second line in with the dillos in, so you can see that, and then we'll have a look about adding some new dinos, some non-island dinos. Right then, guys, so I've just added these 3 lines just to show you what I was actually talking about last time. So you can see from the first line we have the dodo, and we have now replaced that with spiders. The second line, we've added the dillo, and we've replaced that with the bat. The third line is the pego, and we've left the quotation marks bare, so there's nothing in there. So basically that's eradicated the pego, so you're not going to get your stuff pinched anymore. So that's up to you. You could basically add or take away whatever dinos, and you could like swap them around to your heart's content. Right, the next bit what we're going to do is we're going to add non-island dinos to the map. So we'll paste this in there. So I will leave each one of these commands in. I won't add the dodo or anything like that in, so it'll just be the quotation marks. So you could paste them at your leisure and add what dinos you would like. Anyway, right, so now we have, I'll just enter a line down so we can see the next command that we are dealing with. So this one's a config add non-player spawn entries. Right then, so basically this line is saying that you're going to spawn in a new dino. The first quotation mark is where you're going to spawn it. Where would you like this dino to spawn? Right, so if we just have a look at the web, there are official spawn entry classes. Now this is for the island, but also they have them for scorched earth and things. So if you're editing anything on the ini, the game ini, so you can see we've got the center as well. So there we go. So that is basically the spawn area, and this is what spawns in that area. Anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves. We're only on the island. So we are going to do the Karkinos, or the crab. So obviously we want it to spawn on the beach. And this is the spawn area. So as we can see, these things spawn on the beach area. Obviously all the things that we are familiar with. But if we have a look down, there are places you could put crabs in every cave that you wanted to. This is just the island. So they've got cave tech, hard. So we've got the Rex, Allosaurus, Caprisuchus, all these dinos. You could add the crab in to it if you wanted to, but we're just looking at the beach for the moment. So we'll copy that beach entry copy that and go back to his little notepad again. Notepad. There we go. Thank you. So in the first entry bit is the spawn entry, where it's going to spawn. So we want our dino to spawn there, in the beach. Okay. So the second one is the spawn entry name, which is going to be the crab. We'll just say it's a crab. You can call it anything you want. It's just the score there. The spawn entry. Right. The NPCs to spawn. Now, this is what we want to spawn. So we want to spawn the crab. So we have to look up the official name for the crab. Again, if we go to the wiki, expand or the spawn command, it's just called crab. Crab character that. So we copy that. Okay. Back to his notepad. And where are we? Oh, yeah, we are there. So we paste that in there. So that is that. And then we'll paste it in there as well, the second quotation. Right. Here we have EntryWeight and also desired allowed. Now these two are basically the number that are going to spawn in. So we've got, just say 0.20, which is 20% of the spawn rate. So anything that spawns on the beach, 20% of that will be Carkinos. So it may take a little bit of tweaking to get the desired amount that you want. So this is the maximum percentage. So the crab, when it gets to a maximum of 20%, it's like, no, they won't spawn any more than 20%. So you could basically turn that down. So the spawn entry weight is basically going to spawn 20%. Once they start getting killed off, then it'll just drop back to whatever you put at this end. So if you put I don't know, 10%. So if you put 10% there, initially they'll spawn in at 20, the entry weight, but then the max percentage will be drop down to 10. I've sort of like kept it at that, but you may want to add different ways or just check out just to see, because sometimes it's like you can add a little bit too much, but you won't find that out until you've actually populated your area and you've let it run and balance out for a bit. So once you do, every time you log on, you make a change, dino wipe straight away. First thing you do is enter dino wipe. Let the island go popularize all your dinos and then balance out, because obviously dinos are going to attack dinos and kill dinos, and then they're going to replace other spawns. So like the spawn weight of 20% is 20%. So it's always going to be 20% of Carkinos on the beach area. The beach area is pretty big. It's a big area, obviously, because it's the coastal region of the island. So there are going to be crabs everywhere. But you could change that to whatever you want. I mean, you could have like 0 or 0, depending on how super rare or how common you want to make them. But just remember that some of these can be pretty overpowering. So if you spawn like as a brand new character on a beach, it's going to be pretty hard to get away because there's going to be crabs everywhere. Right. So that is that one, and you can add that one. So if we go back to a different area, you could add different things. So I've also added Ravagers to my island, and I've put them in the grasslands. So they are the two non-island dinos that I've added on. So let's have a look at spawn entries again. So I've added, scroll down. There we are. So we've got grassland, dinos grassland entries. So I've added them to my island and I've made them as Ravagers. Now, you can add multiple dinos to a spawn entry, but it has to be on one line. You can't, like this is classed as one line. So if you wanted to add another dino into that class entry, into the spawn beach, you would basically have to add it onto there, that bit. Right then guys, so it looks like a big jumble, so I'm going to go through it. So this one is the first one that we did. So we're going to spawn on the beach, and we're going to be spawning the crab. So that is all one line. That is all one area. The second one that we're going to do is we're going to spawn in the Ravager. That is going to be spawned in the grasslands. Again, it's entirely up to you where you put your spawns. You can play with them however you wish. However, this is the line that you need to add. So the third one is if you wanted to add 2 dinos to one place. So we've got the beach, and then we have the crab with the EntryWeight and whatever. Then also we have the Ravager. So the crab and the Ravager are going to spawn on the beach. So we've got one EntryWeight of 20% and the other entry of 30%. So the other 50% will be made up of other dinos that spawn on the beach, the Lystro and things like that, whatever it is. So obviously you can change these, you can reduce the figures quite a bit actually, because it's quite overpowering of whatever you want. But this is all one line. So you could add another one again if you want. You could go again, but it has to be on one line. You can only have one entry per area. So the beach, so if you wanted to do, oh, I want to put something else on the beach, you couldn't add a new line, a new entry. It'd have to be on that one. Right, so we'll get rid of that. But that is basically, we'll just tidy these up. So there we are. So that is basically it. You can add new entries for the NPCs, and then like the new entries here as well. So that one, the container, the grassland. So you could add Carno Island. You could add dinos to that one as well. Different non-island dinos. It's entirely up to you. But that is just the basics of. Right. So now we've got the dinos and things, we also need to configure out saddles, because these Ravagers, we can tame them. The Karkinos, we can tame them, but we cannot build the saddles because we don't have the Ingrams. Now, a way to get around that is if you edit the drops, which we're going to do next. Right then guys, to edit the beacons, there is a little app that helps out with that, and it's super easy, and it's kind of awesome. Right, so the website is beaconapp.cc. I'll leave a link for it in the description below. So if you go to that website and download that, I'm not sure if they've got it for any other versions. Oh, there is a Mac version as well. So there's a Windows and a Mac version. Right, so I've already got that. So when you download and install, you'll be confronted with this. So basically this is a document type setup deal. So we are going to be doing the island, obviously, but they do have other drops that you can edit as well. But it doesn't really matter because you can put everything in here, everything in the drops. You'll see as we go along. Right, so in the values, my server, the max level dino is 300, so you can put the whatever it wants. It's basically just so that the blueprints and everything that they offer will reflect on the level of difficulty of your island. So if you only had something like a level 1 max, a max level dino of level 30, it just means that everything, like the blueprints that you get, would be poor. They would be ridiculous anyway. So let's do that as level 10. So we'll create that. Right then, here we go. So we want to add, just say the white one. So that is that custom loot. Okay. Oh, sorry. So next. Right, the minimum of sets. So basically this is when you go to the drop, what's it going to be? How many places there's going to be? So we'll say 4, prevent duplicates. We'll just do done for that. Right then, item sets. What is going to be in there? So we need to add that label. We need it, we'll just call it gear. You can call it anything you want. So now we need to add things to that. Now you can search for things of anything, and it's got the Abberation, the ARK, and everything. So you can put anything you want into that. So we're going to add a Ravager saddle. A Ravager saddle Abberation. So we're going to add that. Minimum quality is going to be probably 1. And let's have Ascendant. So chance of it to be a blueprint, you can say, well, you really want that 0. For this particular one, we don't want a blueprint because we can't craft it anyway. The weight is basically how much is going to be, it's going to be chosen over other items as well. So we've got that. So it's going to be a Ravager saddle, a maximum of 3 items. So it's either going to spawn 1 or 3 items. We can change that. But now we need to add, like, say, another thing. We could add, because we've taken dinos out there, we could add kibble. So we've got Dillo egg. Okay. And dodo. So we'll add that. Okay. Right. So now the percentages change, so that makes 100%. So there we go. So a 58, 21 and 21. So you can mess about with that all you want. Maximum quantities, we can change that. So the maximum quantity, you could be quite generous. Say we're going to give you 50 of that. So it's going to be 16. And Dillo egg kibble, again, 50. Okay. So the kibbles and things are all going to change. So that is in the white drop. Then we add another drop, like the green one. Next. Custom loot set. I mean, you could add the standard presets. So you could say scuba gear. Okay, done. So you're going to add that to that one. So there we go. So the scuba gear has everything in that you're going to need. But you can also edit that and change it from max quantity to Ascendant. And chance of being a blueprint 0. Well, because, yeah, we can change that. So it's got a chance of being a blueprint and things like that. You can edit all the drops. Once that's done, file, deploy. Choose. I've got like choose a game ini file on my computer to update, but you can basically just save it to wherever you want to. I recommend that you save it first. Don't edit it straight to your INI. Just use it so you can copy and paste it into the said thing. Just do it just for a little bit later. Because what I like to do is I like to try 1 or 2 things out first, then add more things later. Rather than do it in one big whole lot, just do a little small amount, see if it works, see if any changes need to be made, then go again, then add another beacon, and then go through again and again and again until you get it right. It's a bit of a pain to get done, but it's a lot better than doing a whole load of things and then trying to figure out what's wrong and where. Right there, guys, so I've made up a little bit. So this is what's on my island, so the wyvern. So I've got eggs in there as well. You can add eggs, but they don't turn out very well. Basically, they've got 0 health, and they only spawn out at level 1 when you hatch them out. You can hatch them out, but you basically have to drop them straight onto the air cons, and a lot of them. But they do hatch out. I've just put them in there anyway. So the saddles, I've got the decorative skin, Carcinos and Ravager as well. So max quality is ramshackle. I've been quite generous. Yellow drop. I've also added the climbing pick and the glider suit as well. Max quality on that should be ascendant. Okay, because they break all the time, because they're ridiculously notorious for breaking, and we can't repair them. So basically, you just go to a yellow drop and just pick up a new set. So the red bonus one is the Drake. So I've got the tech saddle, which won't work until you unlock the Ingram. Again, you can still put the saddle on there for bragging rights or whatever. The saddle and rock drake egg. Similar sort of story with the wyverns. It'll only spawn out at level 1 and it will have 0 health, but never mind. Right then, so that's it. So we save it to our external document and then we'll copy and paste it. Right guys, so the top bit is our dinos and the bottom bit is going to be our drops modification. So if we just enter a new line, I've already copied it from a different ini, so I'll just paste it all in here because it is quite a lot. So we just paste that in there and you can see it's like a ridiculous amount of code in, as you can see. Boom. So I made it a little bigger for you to see as well. So all we do now is basically copy this entire lot, the whole shebang, copy. Then we go to gportal, and then we basically paste it in. I've already got mine pasted in, so you can see these are my drops and spawn entries and things like that as well. So what you will need to do is basically paste it in at the very bottom of your other INI. So let's just say for argument's sake. Right, so we're going to load the INI. So there we go. So all that you would do is basically, we've copied it off one page, enter a new line, and then just paste it in. That's it. Then we would hit save and restart your server, and then that would be it. So all this coding that we've added in, basically from there down, is going to change the island and how it acts and how the drops act as well. So there we go. So I'm not going to save that, obviously, not that to that one. Right, so we will jump back in and see how it behaves on the island. Right then, so as you can see, we have Ravagers in the grassland. So this is classed as the grassland area, obviously. Also, we have the bosses that spawn in the mountain region. So obviously that's come from up there. But yeah, we can put things where we like. We can tame these guys because these are guys. I mean, these are Abberation guys. So you're a level 50, and oh god, I'm in creative mode so I can zip about. Oh, now I'm in water, I can't. We also have basilisks as well. I've added them into the redwoods. So over here we should have basilisks. Here we go. So they're along, this is classed as the redwood area. So here we go. Just something extra fiery to make it more of a thing. It's not going to last long. Okay. So in the mountains we have the Megapithecus as well. the gorilla, the giant gorilla. In the swamp areas we have the broodmother, but it's up to you. You can place whatever terrors you like in your own island. And this will work on Xbox One as well as the PS4 and for that matter PC. So if you wanted to spice up your single player, you could edit the INI just the same way. So there we are, we've got a gorilla across there. Right, let's have a look at a few drops. Right then, so this is what we've currently got in green drops. So we've got wyvern eggs and wyvern milk, and you can see we've only got one fire and one milk. So that has a chance to change every time it spawns in. So we'll just take all. Again guys, the wyvern eggs have 0 health, so you need to drop them straight onto an incubator, and they only spawn out at level 1. That's to do with the mechanics of ARK itself, but yeah, that's a shame, but it's still a thing. Right, we'll have a look for some more drops. Right then, because we don't have any what's this one, dillos, the dillos have been replaced by bats. We still need kibbles for taming, so I've put the kibbles in drops. You can also put the eggs in drops as well, and make the guys make the kibble up, or you could just be kind and just put kibble in there. I've put other resources in as well, so there is quite a few other things. Right. Awesome. Right, let's go drop hunting. And there we go. So we've also got the Abberation stuff spawning in as well. Mastercraft and a apprentice. So obviously I've updated that to the Ascendant, but it's just not added into it yet. So it's going to choose random qualities, but that is the Ascendant is the max. And then we just added the glider suit, so you can add that as well. Take all. Right guys, so that's it. Oh, what have we got? Oh, somebody's on the island. Because I'm on my Patreon island, basically all the guys are here. Right guys, so don't forget to whack a like on it, comment or subscribe, and if you got any questions or ideas, just put them in the comments below. Right, see you in the next one.